When I was 21, I worked as a secretary in a television production company in Sydney, Australia. And I was real excited, you see, because this was my first step towards working in the entertainment industry. I had big dreams. I wanted to work on a stage. I was going to date George Clooney. I wanted to travel the world. And I wanted to have people like James Bond on speed dial. So I was real excited about this job, but guess what? After just 6 months of being employed, I got laid off. It was the worst day of my life, and it was exactly the same situation as here in America today. Australia was going through a recession, and so I got laid off, and I was just devastated. But here's the deal. It turned out to be a blessing in disguise. It was really, like so often it is, as it is in changing times, it was an opportunity knocking. You see, I'd been given 2 weeks' notice, and during that time, the talent agent that supplied actors for our TV shows, he was on the phone to me, and his name was Lyle. Well, Lyle was in a real tiz that day. He said, Theresa, I don't know what I'm going to do. He says, I've got to find a piano player for 2 weeks, he says, and everybody's booked. It's Christmas time. Do you know anybody? And without thinking, I said, I can do that. And without thinking, he said, okay. Well, what I didn't tell him was I'd never played professionally before. I'd never gotten paid for it. And I only knew 50 songs, and most of them were Beatles songs. Well, the job was for 2 weeks, 6 nights a week, 4 hours a night. I had 50 songs. Do the math. I was terrified, but I did it afraid because it meant working on a stage. And here's the deal. I think that when you've got those emotions of fear and excitement just colliding inside of you, you're compelled to do it. Move through the fear and go for it, because fear is what you pass on the way to success. Well, this hotel was the fanciest hotel in town, and the people that went there were really fancy schmancy, and they asked for all these sophisticated songs that I'd never heard of. Songs like, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and the theme from Casablanca, As Time Goes By. So old, so not cool, so not Beatles. So I compensated by making them laugh and turning all their requests into Beatles songs. At the end of the 2 weeks, guess what? The agent called and he says, wow, Theresa, you did a fantastic job. He says, everybody loved you. And he hands me this great big check. And I go, whoa, you mean you can get paid for doing what you love? What a concept. That's when I made the decision to get really good. Money's a great motivator, isn't it? So is passion. My attitude was, I am going to do whatever it takes to get really, really good. And for me, that meant practice day in and day out. You see, there's no such thing as overnight success. The Beatles and Bill Gates both have one thing in common, believe it or not. They both put 10,000 hours worth of practice to reach the level of excellence they did. There's no such thing as overnight success. Ask any rock star, any athlete, they'll tell you the same. And so what does it take to be excellent in today's competitive workforce? Let me suggest that it starts first and foremost with attitude. Check your attitude. Do people like you? Or are you a sourpuss? Ask yourself if you're a sourpuss, because, chances are if you had kibbles and bits for lunch, there could be a problem. So ask yourself, are you willing to do whatever it takes? Attitude, it all starts here. And by the way, be likable, stay humble, because nobody likes arrogance. Be willing to learn new ways of new things, new ways of learning. Who watches Dancing with the Stars? Just about everyone, and the rest of you won't just admit it. So What happens on Dancing with the Stars? Before they get to perform live, the celebrity stands there with the dance trainer, and the celebrity's attitude is this: I'm here, I'm ready, willing, and able to learn something new. Teach me. And then they practice, practice, practice. And I learned early on that, you know what, if you do something often enough, you get really good at it. End of segment 3. In 2006, I got a call from one of the agents I work with in Houston, and Margot was all excited. She said, Theresa, how would you like to audition for Coca-Cola to perform at the Winter Olympics in Torino, Italy? Well, duh. Of course I was interested, wouldn't you be? You think? So I said to her, when's the audition? She said, 3 days. I went, whoa. I've got 3 days to prepare for the event of a lifetime. You know, I knew I had 30 seconds or less to impress that woman, so I did nothing for 3 days except prepare for that audition, because here's my last point on extraordinary performance. It takes focus. I had laser beam focus for 3 days, did nothing else but prepare for that audition. I know some of you have seen American Idol, right? Well, what do you think those contestants do before they get their 2 minutes on stage in the limelight? They prepare, don't they? They keep their focus on the goal, and they prepare by rehearsing over and over and over what they're going to do on that 2 minutes. Focus. Well, I'm humbled and honored to say that I won the audition for Coca-Cola to go to the Olympics, and I got to perform at the 2006 Olympics, and it was beyond awesome. It was so awesome, and I didn't even have to go through Simon. It was cool. And here's what it takes. This is it, laser beam focus. It really, really pays off. And for you young people in the audience, remember that, because it's something that you can carry through. When you keep your focus on your goals, just like the Olympic athletes, they focus on being their best every single time. And that's what we all need to do in today's workforce. So, keep your focus on being your best every single time, without exception. Whether it's going to, and be prepared. Be prepared for your time in the spotlight, whether it be for the next meeting or the next job interview or the next exam. And keep your eyes on the goal. Never lose sight of the goal. And guess what? You too can take home the gold. Thanks for listening. Thank you. Thank you.